All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's show is Happy Valentine's Day. The reason why I'm putting the show out today is because I feel that way, you understand me? When you have a Valentine's, someone you can feel good when it's Valentine's Day, that makes you feel great and you always ready to celebrate it. Especially it's a special day for me and my queen, especially because it is our anniversary as well as our Valentine's Day. So it's a double celebration for us, you dig? So that's why I make sure to do the celebration and to do it right, because it is a special day for us, And we will do a show together down the line, you understand what I'm saying, to reciprocate this gorgeous event. But the reason why she is not here today and I didn't do a show with her is because she had fell and hurt her hand. She had fell and hurt herself, so it was like it was difficult for me to get her here, because like I said, she had fell and she wasn't feeling good right now. So we're not doing the show together. So I'm doing the show representing Valentine's Day because, like I say, Valentine's Day is a special day for lovers actually, but it's a beautiful day because a lot of times it's been many years went by, and I was by myself, and I still felt good about Valentine's Day, even though I didn't have anyone to share Valentine. If I had someone that was a friend, I would buy them flowers, and if it was a female, and buy them candy and represent it like Valentine's Day, like you're supposed to. And they'd be my Valentines, even though we were just friends. So when you really have a Valentine, someone that you can really be committed to when it's Valentine's Day for real, and really express it like that, it's really double beautiful. So that's why I appreciate Valentine's Day now, because I have a queen and our anniversary is on Valentine's Day, and it's a beautiful day to express love, and I even have the outfit to express it as well. You dig? I got the outfit to express Valentine's Day. That's a beautiful thing to do, you dig? Because you got to look at it like this. Valentine's Day is a day for lovers, and if you have someone that you love in your life, and you have a mate, then you're supposed to be great, and you're supposed to appreciate them and treat them with love and respect, especially on that day. But you're supposed to treat them like that every day. You're supposed to treat them with the utmost respect and love, and treat them with that every day. I try to treat them every day. It's like Christmas. I treat people, I treat, my queen, I give her things every day, not just when it's Christmas or Valentine's Day, whatever. I treat her with that love and respect every day, because that's, something you should do, You should be grateful and thankful for the love you have in your life. If you have someone in your life that you love, you should express that love in all aspects of the day. Friday actually is Valentine's Day, but since my show was today on Tuesday, you dig, and I didn't have time. I didn't arrange it to do a show on Friday with my lady because, like I said, she'd hurt her hand, so I didn't think to if she'd be all right enough to do the show Friday, so I didn't make that arrangement. But the point of it is that we do shows together, and I express that love and that harmony and that gratitude and gratefulness that I express to her. I do it all the time, like I say, but like I say, Valentine's Day is a day that you should express it with your loved one, that with your mate if you have one, And those that don't have one, just be happy for those that are on that day, and be expressing love. If there's someone that you like, someone that like they used to do in school, they used to tell you to give cards and give Valentines to different people, and you pick up Valentines. They'd pick one for you. If there's someone you like, this is the time for you to make your move, Valentine's Day is the time for you to make your move. If there's someone you like, that's the perfect opportunity for you to give them flowers or give them something, because someone else may not be there for them. So they will really appreciate it on that Valentine's Day, because, you're making a move that a lot of people are not making for that woman. And that's how you know if you're going to come up with her or not, is to make that campaign on Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? That's when you make the move, because if you make the move on that day, you probably won't get denied. You know what I mean? If there's no one else in her life to be her Valentine. You know, you know what I mean? So you try to be their Valentine. And you asking me, can I be your Valentine? You know what I'm saying? And hey, you know what I mean? That's a great time to make the move. Like I say, you make your move on Valentine, and you probably won't lose. You understand, when you make that move, because it's people in that mood, that they're in that loving mood, or they want to be in that mood. They want to be picked. You know, they want to be chosen on Valentine. If they don't have no one, that's the time for them to be with someone or to get someone. A time when they're feeling that way and they're with someone to make them feel the gratitude and the gratefulness. You dig? That would be the time for them to, feel that type of way. You dig? And that's the reason why I say, you know what I mean? You make sure you dig that you be grateful. You understand me, for what you have and for what you do. You make sure to be that way. You know, if you can feel grateful and feel gratitude and feel gracious, then you can't miss. You know what I mean? You cannot miss, because you're looking the way that you're supposed to look, to be the way you're supposed to be. You know, you're feeling that way and you're being that type of way. You dig? And by you doing that, you're not gonna miss. You know what I mean? You are not gonna miss, because you're giving it all you got. You give something all you got, how you gonna miss? You know, when you give them the gracious, when you give them the graciousness, when you give them the graciousness, you know, the graciousness, you give them the graciousness. You know, no, you're not gonna miss, because you gotta look at it like this. You show people love all the time anyway, right? But you show the special one you want to be with today, the Valentine's Day. You make your move on Valentine's Day. That's opportunity for those, you know what I mean, people that are on the pursuit of a mate, on the pursuit of of trying to come up and with a mate, or with with a girlfriend, or however you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it. That's the opportunity for you to make that move. You dig? You make your move, you dig, at that time. That's the time you make the move. You dig? You make the move, you dig, on Valentine's Day, or the time that it is. That's when you make that move. As long as you make that move, you're gonna be on the right groove. You dig? You understand? But you got to realize that Valentine's Day is not only a day, you know what I mean, that you use that as an opportunity to ingratiate your love for the person that you have a crush on, or you might like. Because we all have someone that we like, you know what I mean? You know, that may not be with someone, they might not be with someone, but we don't never make the move, because we're not thinking the time is right. Valentine's is the time. If there's no other time like Valentine's, if you haven't made a move or made an effort to come up with the woman, or to see if she likes you back. That's the time to make the move, simply because she's in that feeling. People are feeling that kind of way, because that's just like the mood. It gives you that type of mood. Just, you know what I mean? Like Christmas brings you in the mood of Christmas. Every occasion puts you in the mood of that occasion. And if you don't have anyone, and someone comes to you like that, you're more able to go out on a date on that time, or be ready to ingratiate feelings with that person, because they're getting at you at that time. And that's a good time to do it. That's how I did with my woman. we went our first date when we first went out, you know what I mean, was on Valentine's. That's why we call it our anniversary. Because when we first went out, it was on Valentine's. We met Super Bowl day, and we were dressed alike, right? And then when we met, we Valentine's Day, we went out on our first date, and we had on red and white. We wore red and white, you know. And her son was driving the car, and they picked me up from the park, and she was in the back seat, and he was in the front, driving us to where we wanted to go. To our first place we went to yesterday. It was 8 Mile High Club, simply because that was where I wanted to go. You know, I didn't know it wasn't going to be what it was supposed to be on that particular day. I didn't know that, but it still was all right. You know, it was still okay. You know, it was an all right situation. You dig? But the whole thing is that you got to do what you have to do for you, and enjoy your life and be the best you can be. You know what I mean? And whatever it is that you're doing, you make sure you enjoy life to the best of your ability. You know, and when it comes to holidays, you know, you celebrate all of them because that's a part of life. That's what it's all about. You know, but you don't have to, you know, give presents and doing all that Christmas stuff. You know what I mean? Simply because Christmas, people feel different about it. Like me, I try to give my woman presents and things all the time, and I'm not giving everybody anything. You know, because I'm not that way. I'm not that type of person to just give people things, gifts, because it's that type of, because it's supposed to be at that type of day. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like this day, you know, like I say, you should definitely, if you have a girlfriend, you should definitely not ignore this day. You know, definitely buy her flowers, give her, you know, acknowledge the day that it is Valentine's Day. Get her something, take her somewhere. You know, do something on that day for her, because it is a day to be celebrated with someone if you have a loved one. You know, and if you don't, like I said, you make arrangements to take someone out on that day, pursue someone, and I always did that. Like I said, I would have a friend, and I would, you know, give her flowers and do what I did. You know what I mean? And make it look like I had someone. If I didn't, I never would be empty-handed when it came to an occasion. I had what I call place setters. What I meant, they were place setters. They looked like they were my women when they weren't. You know, they just was friends, and they would look like it because I would probably buy them flowers. I would probably buy them, you know, candy, and then I would, you know, take pictures, you know, with them, you know, friends, and then they, you know what I mean? And maybe we would go to the movies or go, you know, do something, and it would just be a friend, because if I didn't have a girlfriend, I would always want to be associated with women, because I would not want to be going nowhere with no man. You understand? And I would still live my life, go to shows and do things. I still did that. I had women friends, though. You understand me? Because I know that this is the effect. Associate with women, have women friends, because having men friends and doing things with men and not doing things with women is not good. Because it makes you uncomfortable around women. And you're not supposed to be uncomfortable. You're supposed to keep your edge on when it comes to being around women until you get a woman. And when you get a woman, then you ain't got to do nothing but be around that woman. But you don't have, but when you don't have a woman, be around women in order to get a woman, the woman vibration. You know, it's called the woman vibrations, and that's what's going to jump off. You're going to have vibrations from women when you're with women, you know, as long as you're with them. And remember, Valentine's Day is a day to be happy. Be happy on Valentine's Day. You know, make sure to be happy. You know, unhappy for Valentine's Day. You know, and like I say, you know, like I say, you get that habit of that from high school and grammar school and elementary when they made you get the cards to the girls. You know, and if you didn't, you should give one that you're trying to pursue, you give her a card or give her something, you know, as a gesture that you're liking her or whatever, you know what I mean, and you're trying to get with her. You know, and you let her know that, you know, as a campaign. She's on your campaign trail. You're on your campaign note, you understand me? Are you campaigning, you understand me, trying to win? You're doing the things you do to try to win, and you win the campaign. You know what I mean? As you do that, you're actually doing it, and you're winning the campaign. When you once do that, you learn how to win the campaign trail. You learn how to deal with the campaign. You put the campaign together where you're going to win like that, and you're winning through the campaign, by doing your campaign work. Like I told people, that's how you do. Because it's like this, no man should be by himself, you know. And if you're by yourself, and you're by yourself by choice, then it's okay, you know. You know what I mean? It's okay to be by yourself and to do things by yourself for yourself, because that's what you think about yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just always have your mind ready. Don't lose your edge when it comes to being where you don't talk to women, or you don't get at women, or you don't be with women. Don't never lose your edge. Because you have to always realize, understand me, that you want to be. You don't have to be a ladies' man, but you want to be a man. You know what I'm saying? That women like. See, like me, I dress good and look good, so women always was attracted to me. I always caught ladies' eyes, because that's the way I was. I always dressed good, so women always liked a man that dressed up. So I always had women friends that I would have until I come up with a woman that was of my choice. And then when you come with the woman that likes you, then you cool. You stick with that one woman. So if you're young, you might want more than one woman. When you get to a certain age, you got to concentrate on one woman, because you want to have one woman to be real and be with you. It's gonna be with you. You understand me? You try to stick with her, through your life adventures in life. But when you're young, you're trying to find the right woman. So you have more. You date more than one woman. You have various women until you commit to the one. But you're trying to get to the one. Until you get to the one, you have to have other ones. You know what I'm saying? Until you find the right one. Or you might date one at a time till you find the right one. You can do it like that too. It all depends on how you feel. Till you get to that commitment. Till you get to that where you committed to a one relationship. But eventually you will have to get to that one relationship, because having more than one woman is not going to lead you to a committed relationship with one woman, where you have to, that dedication and devotion, because that's where it comes from. A woman, you being committed to one woman and having one solid, good relationship with her, where you can make things happen. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by make things happen, you can find love and understanding in the relationship. What I mean by that is getting involved with the right woman, making things happen. You dig, in the right respect. You see, when they do that, you got on a solid foot. You know what I mean? You're on solid ground. You dig? And that's why I'm the kind of person, you dig, that really like being, romantic, being in a romantic situation, romance and all that. The way things supposed to be in romance. The way life's supposed to be, romance and being, because I got it from my father. I got that from my father. Then when I got in the fast life, I got into a, the women. It's a different thing when it comes to the women in the game. When it comes to the women in the game, it's a different thing. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's different. You know what I mean? They gonna choose you and they gonna get with you, and you know what I mean. They make the choice, and you deal with them. But it's like they choose you, so you can't make no woman do anything. They do what they want because they want to do it. You campaign for them, but when you campaign, you're not only campaigning for the one, you're campaigning for the one that likes you. So it could be 3 or 4 women out there, and this is where I was. I campaigned and campaigned for the one that likes me. You understand? And then they get with me, but I always treated them good because it's like this. I was a good person, and I liked it to be. But a lot of times women don't appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? When you're that type of person, they don't appreciate it. So, you got to get the one that appreciates you for what you are and what you do and how you are. And that's the one you're gonna like, because she likes you for who you are and what you are. You did, and that's why you know what I mean. You could be doing bad, but your doing bad ain't really doing bad because you still gonna stand for principles, morals, and standards. As long as you have those, you know what I mean. You ain't gonna do bad too long. You're doing bad ain't really doing bad because you're gonna always keep yourself up. You're gonna look good. Your front and flash is always gonna be on tap because you ain't stepping no other way when it comes to living life. Your best is gonna be other people's best. Because what counts is what you got. You got the things that count. You understand? To most women, you're gonna treat them right and do the things that matter. You understand? And you're gonna do that. And you're gonna be a good person. See, but a lot of people don't have those standards and morals and principles, so they don't know, what really matters to them or anybody else. And you got to realize being a good person determines the kind of woman you're going to end up with. If you have a steady woman, if you're able to get a steady woman, when you find the right one, she's going to be there for you, you understand me? She's going to be with you 100. If she's not, I don't want to be half-stepping. I'm not one to play games with people. You got people that play games, and I'm not going to accept you. If you don't be with me 100, then you're not going to be with me because I'm not going to be half-stepping. That's why I only need one, just one good woman. I'm not going around trying to have a bunch of women or having women half-heartedly, just to put on a show to look good. These cats get more than one woman because they think it looks good to have a lot of women. When you're young, it could look good and it could be good because you're trying to explore. You're trying to, have options. So you just say, I did this, I done that at the time when you're young. So you do it for that reason. To say you did it, you know what I mean? Or you play that game. Because that's what it is, a game. You say, well, I played that game. I had more than one woman. I did that. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it was something. Or it was all right. Or it was more than I thought it was going to be. Whatever your versions of what it is, it's not nothing that you can maintain. It's something that can work for a while. Because say if you go to jail, who's going to stay? Who's going to stay and stick with you? You'll see soon, if you go through that, the ones that stay and the ones that go, you'll find out, who you thought would be there wouldn't be there, and you thought they would have, but you got to realize that you gave them the option when you let them know that you wasn't going to be devoted to just them, so they're not going to be devoted to you. When you fall, they're gonna flee. You understand me? And I've seen it happen. So I know that that's the options that happen when you're trying to play the field and have more than one woman. The whole foundation of flows. They all go, You understand? But when you have that one choice, that one woman that's dedicated and devoted to you, and you stick with her too bitter, to the bitter end. You know, too bitter and to the sweet, and to the bitter to the end. Then you're gonna have something. You know, you come out, they're gonna be there for you. That one will, definitely. You know, maybe not no more body, maybe not nobody else, but that one good woman will. That one good woman will be there, and that's all you need. What you need is that one good one. You know, that's all you really need is the one good one. You know, if you can have that one good one. You know, when you can have that one good one, then you're doing something. You know, and that's all you need to do. You know, is have that one good one. You know, and be true and be dedicated and do everything and be devoted to her. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? I don't need a whole lot of women. You know what I mean? And women, they got women that accept that. You know, to a degree. They say they accept it to a degree, but when it comes really down to it, you know what I mean? You'll see who's standing tall through it all. It's gonna be one that's gonna stand out more than the other, and you're gonna be, you know, be more in that one's corner than you would be with the others. You know, and that's how it end up being. You know, that's why I say you only need one good one. That's gonna stand up for you, be there for you, and that's the one you want to be with. You know, you can't keep playing equal games with different ones that ain't being equal to you. You know, you got to make sure you keep it fair, keep it with equality. You know, and keep it steady and keep it right, and keep it on the same game. You know, make sure they play the right game. You know, the game that counts. You know, you got to play the game that counts. You know, the right game. You know what I'm saying? If you can play a righteous game, then you on the hit list, man. You know? Then you on the hit list. You see what I'm saying? You got to realize that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? You got to do what's right. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what's right, man. That's what you better do. Do the thing, do that makes you feel good. Do that's righteous. A righteous thing is you can't lose. You can't lose when you play by the rules. You know, and life you gotta look at life how it's based out to be. You know, it's based, polygamy is not legal. And when you're in the fast life and you're playing the pimp game, it's like a polygamy relationship because you want all these women to live and agree with you. But that's not really easy to do. You can live that type of life, but are you happy? Is that really what you want, you know? You know what I mean? Me, I like my privacy, and I don't even like to be around one woman all the time, let alone anything more. And I like to be by myself, you know what I mean, without anyone. You know, and when you like that, you don't need that. So you know you got to go along with what makes you happy, what you like doing, what you like being. You know, it sounds good to have a lot of women, you know, and all that. Like Hugh Hefner, the Playboy he was the first one to do it, and have that type of style. A bunch of beautiful women, you know. You know, it sounds good, but I really don't need that one day. I like being not with no woman, by myself a lot of the time. You know, I don't like being with a woman all the time, no way. I don't care who it is. You know, I like my privacy, my being by myself. You know, you think, and then being with the woman. You know, seeing her when I see her. You know, but it ain't got to be all the time. You know, but like Valentine's Day is to be with that special one that you want to be with, and you definitely be with her on that special day. That special day, you make it a great day, and you be with her on that day, and you make sure you do that. You understand? If you don't do anything else, you make sure you be there on Valentine's Day. Be with the one you love and love the one you with. You know what I mean? And I don't wear these hearts for nothing. I wear these hearts because I cherish and value Valentine's Day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's my show. I have to go.